guys, welcome to the Homestead. Now listen, I'm not even going to pretend for a second to think I'm going to keep your attention during this whole video for just a review. No. I have another way of doing that, and that is with this amazing loaf of Artisan no-knead bread. Bread making is an art. It's not a science. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So you got to put in your time, okay? You got to put in your time to come up with great looking bread like this, and this is really a superb bread. My kids love it. We all love it. It's great bread. And so I'm going to try to keep your attention throughout the video with this amazing loaf. I'm just going to bring it up from time to time and just wave it around so you'll stick around and watch the whole video. Okay, I've got the Oukitel p501 power station. I did a video a couple days ago talking about emergency situations where, listen, you've got some sort of medication or insulin or, probiotic pills or something that needs to stay refrigerated. Yeast. I keep all my yeast. See, I'm keeping your attention. All my yeast in the freezer or fridge. So it stays cool, so it stays healthy. My yeast, I want active, healthy yeast to make wonderful bread like this. Anyway, for those sorts of things, the power goes out. What are you going to do? It's the middle of the night, the power just went out, or the middle of the day, whatever. And the first rule when the power goes out is don't open the fridge. You let all the cold air out. Don't open the freezer. You let all the cold air out. But at some point, you got to make the decision, hey, well, the power, if it's not coming back on, or it's not coming back on for a while, what are you going to do to make sure your medications that you have stay okay? So introducing the P501 from Oukitel. This is a great emergency power station. It'll also be great for camping, But there's some caveats to this. It's got a lot of great benefits, but I want to point out a few cons. I'm going to be honest with you on this review. I've watched reviews from this unit on YouTube, and there's a lot of reviewers out there who have all this gear and meters and computer software and things where they run tests on stuff like this and give all kinds of specs. Listen, I'm not going to bore you with any of that stuff. What I'm going to tell you is what this will work for and what it won't work for. I've watched all the other reviews too. So the biggest downside, we'll go through the downsides first because everyone wants to hear about the downsides. The biggest downside to this thing is this DC jack will shut off with no activity. That means that, listen, if the power's out and you have some medications that you need to keep cool, you take them out of there and you put them in a small refrigerator, one of those small travel refrigerators or one of those small vehicle refrigerators that are about that big. They're not very big at all, and that will run on this, for a few hours and easily be able to charge it back up again and to keep your insulin cool. And so I've seen other people on YouTube do this. The downside to this is, though, this DC jack, it turns off. And so once that refrigerator the thermostat reaches the desired temperature, the refrigerator shuts off. And then what happens? This thing shuts off after a minute of inactivity. So it's like, okay, you don't need me anymore. I'm going to shut off. But then it doesn't come back on when the refrigerator says, hey, it's time to cool things down again. That's a big no-no. Oukitel needs to fix that. Other units will not have that problem. Some units don't have that problem, but this one does for some reason. They need to fix that. The issue, the way around this that other YouTubers have found, very simple, is to go ahead and get a splitter. So you get the DC jack, which is like the normal cigarette lighter type thing, Nobody uses those for cigarettes anymore, I don't think. But anyway, you get the DC jack, cigarette lighter, DC jack, and then you get a splitter for it on Amazon. They're really cheap, affordable. There's lots of them out there. And then you run one side into the refrigerator from here, and then the other side goes into like a small fan or a small light bulb that basically pulls 1 watt or 2 watts of power. That way, this jack never turns off. And it just keeps the refrigerator going. Whenever the refrigerator kicks on again, well, then boom, it powers it on, right? And so you can keep that refrigerator going for a while, for a number of hours for sure. And so that would be great for this. That's the only downside, is that you'll need a splitter for this, for like a small refrigerator to keep medications cool. The other downside to this that I have seen, the only really other downside that I've seen, is that the charging port, it's an AC charging port. You plug it into a wall, and that's how I charged this one when I got in the mail. It came at like only 50% charge, and so I charged it up by plugging it into my outlet, which is also powered by solar. And so I had to wait for a sunny day to do this video. So I got it fully powered. However, what are you going to do if you need solar panels? What if there's no power to charge it with the AC jack? You got to be able to find the MC4 connectors with the AC jack or the DC jack 6.5 millimeter connector. And you can find those on Amazon as well. The problem is a lot of those jacks, the MC4 to the DC port, aren't 6.5 millimeters, so you got to find an adapter. And I had to dig through my my thing here to find that. So I found a 6.5, and it fits in there fine. And these are pretty common. You can find these also very cheap, very affordable, very numerous everywhere out there you look. And so get an adapter, and then that way you can charge with a solar panel. But the downside to that, not just being that you have to get an adapter, is that this thing is only rated for, I think, about 30 volts. So if you have a large solar panel or a number of solar panels and it produces more than 30 volts, it's not going to work. It's going to be too much power. It won't work. It won't register, from what I understand. You're going to need to find a smaller solar panel that produces 30 volts or less. And then that will work. You can plug it directly in with this adapter from the MC4 connectors into your solar panels and into here. And then there you go. But you're going to need probably an adapter, unless you can find a MC4 to a DC port 6.5 millimeter. Most of the ones I found online were 8 millimeter or different sizes. So, but that's why you have adapters. You plug in the other one into here, and then you plug the 6.5 into there. Make sense? So there are ways around this. Well, here's the deal. It's affordable, okay? For an emergency situation, this is probably one of the most affordable options you're going to get. That's going to have 500 watts. And right now, because it's the holiday season, everything's on sale. You can get coupon codes. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find that, and they have discounts over at Amazon where you can buy one of these. But it's affordable. So for an affordable option in an emergency, this basically meets the bill. It's got plenty of other ports for USB. It's got different USB ports. It's got the USB-C port you can use. It's only for charging. You can't actually power through there, but you can actually, charge your cell phone with it, easy. And then it's got some other AC connector outlets here too. And then it's got a light that you can turn on. It's got a strobe and a flash. And you can see it's fully charged, 100%. And it gives a display on there, and just like different icons will show up above or below based on what you're doing if you're charging. And then so you can get different, you see all that? Anyway, it lets you know what the thing is doing all the time you're running it. That's really it in a nutshell. Bread. Stick with me here. Stick with me. Bread. So good. I'll give you the recipe at the end of the video. As far as how well this performs, all these companies overestimate their performance. Even solar panels. You get a solar panel, they say it's 400 watts or 300 watts. If it's a 400 watt solar panel, chances are on the perfect conditions, on a perfect sunny day, it's only going to bring in 385 or 390. Okay, that's just the way it is. So with this coming out on the DC output, it rates at about 92%, which is pretty good. Okay, and then for what it's rated, a 500 watt system, and then on the AC output it rates at about 85, which is also very good. And there's a lot of guys out there who are way more technical than I did, who've done video reviews on this, and they say those numbers are actually excellent for how this performs. So again, this is why I recommend it after watching other videos. Just saying, hey, listen, for camping, for an emergency power situation, for medicines, for like a small fridge, this would be fantastic. If you're on a budget, this would be fantastic. Sure, there's more robust and bigger systems out there. Some of them we're going to be reviewing in the days ahead. There's another one from Oukitel, a bigger, more beefier one. We're going to be talking about that in another video. There are bigger and better systems, but if you're on a budget and you want to have something set aside for an emergency, this will do you, okay? If you get the things that I mentioned before with the splitter for the DC output jack. Okay, another big benefit to this that you don't see with all units is that it will allow pass-through charging. Now, what does that mean? Pass-through charging allows you to use this system to run things while at the same time you're charging it. Some units don't do that. That's a big win, and that's going to be something I would see me using it for that, or maybe you using it for that. You may want to be charging this while you're actually running that fridge. You want to be on a sunny day, you're going to need to get that refrigerator cold. So that small fridge that you have, that vehicle fridge or whatever you've got, that portable fridge, while you have solar panels hooked up to it to charge it. Does that make sense? That's a big benefit, and this unit provides that. So other than that, let me look at my notes here. Supports pass-through charging. Oh, it is a pure, for the AC, it is pure sine wave. So it's not a modified sine wave, it's a pure sine wave. Comes with a handy-dandy manual with all the information you're going to need on the inside to run it. It reads real well. Some of these instruction manuals They're really hard to read. You can't. They're like in broken English and stuff. And this is actually written pretty well, and it's pretty easy to understand all the stuff and statistics and specs and all that stuff in there. So I always give a big thumbs up when someone writes a manual and does it, in a way that I can understand. So, okay, guys. Bread. So how do I make my bread? I make my bread with 4 ingredients, just 4: water, salt, flour, and yeast. Water, salt, flour, and yeast. Yeast that I've kept cool in my refrigerator because I don't keep it. I don't leave my yeast out. I keep it in the freezer. I put the water in at about 100 degrees. I mix it all up. I let it sit. I mix it up again. I let it rise. Let it rise. Let it rise. And at the end of the oven it goes. And delicious. Oh, it smells so good. I use the everything bagel on there. Oh, you got to get some of that stuff. I also like rye bread. I forgot the spice for the rye that makes it rye. Makes rye. You can leave a comment below. I forgot what that is. I got some of that too. I like making rye bread. Anyway, it's the Oukitel P501 Power Station. It gives a thumbs up from me. And for an emergency budget solution, this will work. But stay tuned. We'll be doing another video on the Oukitel. It's a more beefier system. It's a bigger one. I think it's a 2000, and we'll check that out in another video. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Would you buy a system like this if you were on a budget? Some of you guys have been really anxiously awaiting some of these videos because we did that video a couple days ago talking about emergency situations and what to do. And so I'm coming out with a number of videos because I've made deals with a few companies to be able to give you a heads up on preparing for those things. These substation attacks and all of this nonsense that's going on right now, it's got people a little bit jittery. And what are you going to do if the power's not there one day? Well, that's what we're here for. We're gonna be. I love prepping. This t-shirt gets more conversations going when I'm out wearing it than any other t-shirt I have. People like the stupid it hurt shirt, but this gets a lot more conversations. You meet lots of friends when you wear this shirt out. People are like, I don't want to tell people I'm prepping. Okay, that's fine, but I tell you what, you meet a lot of friends who are also prepping when you wear this shirt out, and the other liberals just look at you and with disdain and go home and cry their liberal tears. But most people who are doing the same thing you're doing, they want to talk and they want to hear about what you're doing and they want to tell you what they're doing, and it's a great conversation starter. So links in below for teespring.com on this one. Also links below for the Oukitel P501 if you're interested. They have coupons against the holidays, so there's lots of sales going on. Okay, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I hope I earned your subscription today. If you're new, please go ahead and subscribe. People always comment and said, YouTube unsubscribe me again. It's just the way it is around here when you like drinking liberal tears in your coffee in the morning. They don't like you, and they just unsubscribe to all your subscribers. Okay, guys, hit that like button. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on American Homestead. Bye! This is Grandma. Grandma survived the Great Depression. She survived the Great Depression because her supply chain was local, and she knew how to do stuff. Grandma was smart. Grandma told us to make do with what you got. She also said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Homesteading is all about self-reliance and declaring ourselves to be independent from the system. We grow our own food, we raise our own animals, and doing these things helps safeguard our families from the unpredictable world that surrounds us. But what about banking? I love being my own power company, but what about being my own bank? Right now, our country is over $30 trillion in debt and rising. The Fed keeps printing money, and the Congress won't stop spending money. Staying attached to the modern banking system and their investment vehicles is like putting all of your eggs in one very, very fragile basket. On one side, you have the threat of inflation and your savings value floating away. And the other side is a possible deflationary stock market collapse, just like what happened in the 1930s. Genesis Gold Group is like a basket holding eggs, and these eggs are impossible to break. History shows us that all paper investments have and will return to their intrinsic value eventually. Zero. But gold, silver, and other precious metals have never, ever been worthless. In every collapse throughout history, people have turned back to precious metals to find monetary value. If you have a 401k, an IRA, or a savings account where you're literally watching the purchasing power inflate away, give Genesis Gold Group a call right now. Today. This instant. They can develop a strategy for you in the days ahead. I can tell you how I raise sheep, I can tell you how I raise chickens, or the best way to grow tomatoes, or how to hook up a solar panel. But Genesis Gold Group is your best shot at safeguarding your hard-earned savings and investments during this increasingly turbulent time in history. The link and phone number is in the description below, or visit their website at genesisgoldgroup.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. I'll wait.